Hey guys, welcome to the stream. This is Cat Banter episode 27. Hang tight with us for a couple minutes. We will be starting the stream very shortly.
What's up, Al?
Pierre, do you need the link?
I'm okay. There's too much stuff in my stories right now, Leon, for it to even get seen.
Cool. Cat Banter 27 with
What's up, everybody? Got some people pouring in now.
Jason, did you really spit coffee out your nose after reading the Jim Turner comic?
Yeah.
That thing was funny as hell, man.
Oh, dude.
Funny, man.
I laughed so hard.
He's the guy that hangs in the back, takes notes on people, and remembers everything. He doesn't talk a lot, but he remembers fucking everything.
And he nails, even just through dialogue in this cartoon, he nails us to a T.
Yeah.
It's amazing.
He gets the essence of Jason Mead. That's for certain. Like when I look at it, like it just that cartoon, that comic strip oozes Jason Mead's charming personality.
He gets Robert really good too. Like
he does.
like fuck the Panthers.
That's right. That's right.
Yeah, he's got a beard. He could be Thor. Fuck the Vikings.
Funny. It's a great comic. I
would print that. I'll get that printed.
Oh yeah, that thing's good as hell.
Or we should
have like a Views from the Vault FHS like Wall of Fame.
Or you just put them all together and start some graphic novel or something.
Yeah, Google. We got a lot of people pouring in here. That's cool.
Oh, Jim's in here too. I'm talking about you, Jim. Good job on that comic.
Yeah, great job. Great job. I love how he really got to the depths of the Marvel versus DC controversy here on Views from the Vault.
Yeah. He gave me a 6-pack too, so I'm not arguing with that.
A 6-pack? What the? What the? Leon, we all know you're carrying nothing less than a keg in there.
Yeah. He could have made me the Blob, but he made me the Hulk, so I'm very happy.
Yeah.
Choice of character.
No, the Blob from the Brotherhood of Evil Mutants. I know a lot about comic books because I remember them as a child.
Okay.
Like if you punched him, right, I think like you would get stuck in his fat.
Yeah.
And it would dissolve your arm or something.
There you go.
It's pretty crazy, right? The Blob.
The Blob.
Oh, we got Professor Hatter here. Professor Hatter.
Yeah. You owe him
a
deal of gratitude for taking his teachings.
Professor Hatter. I am actually happy you're on because I've missed you, Professor Hatter. I've missed you. I'm gonna show you some hat diversity live today on the show. Our distinguished guest Jay of the Fairweather League. I've got some Ebbitsfield caps from him that I purchased. Probably one of them a couple years ago, another one more recently. So I'm going to show you live and in person some hat diversity.
There you go.
Jay, they think that I only like New Era 5950.
Oh yeah,
but I can mix it up a little bit.
Yeah.
I just don't want any plastic shit on the back of my hat.
I appreciate the diversity.
Hey, Ashton, and anyone else that's watching this on the Gulf Coast, thanks for joining us live. But if you need to evacuate or take cover, you can always watch this later.
Yeah. Cool. We can get started, right, Leon?
Yeah, let's do it. All right, guys. Welcome to episode 27 of Cat Banter. We have a very special episode planned for you guys today. It's your homie Leon. I'm here with my co-hosts Pierre and Jason Mead. We have Jay Hutton in the house. Jay runs the Fairweather League. If you're not familiar with it, he joins us with a lot of experience. He's done some New Era customs, some Ebbitsfield customs, and more recently, he's done a couple of releases with the Clink Room. So hope you guys enjoy us going under the cap with them. So Pierre, take it away.
Yeah. So Jay, I got to tell you, man, I'm going to lead with this, and I hate to lead with this, but I have to. This thing right here is fucking incredible.
Well, thank you.
Incredible. And I was laughing as people were falling asleep on this hat, and they were like, "Oh no, it's not for me." And when I got it, I made sure I took 27 different pictures of this thing from different angles to make sure all right. To make sure all those people that didn't listen to me felt the pain of missing out on this thing. So I do want to kind of leave that off to the side for now, but I wanted to thank you for creating such a beautiful cap in conjunction with the Clink Room.
I want to thank you and everybody who didn't sleep on it, and I'm happy I wasn't paying attention to the naysayers, because that would have bummed me out. But
no, they were doing that privately. They were doing that privately, Jay.
Yeah. Well, that's how that goes.
But there wasn't hate for the hat. It was just
I know. Me. Yeah, no, I totally get that, and I'd like to do things that have like what I think is a strong point of view, and that's going to necessarily exclude some people, which is actually, it's a good thing.
Yeah. And Jay, just for the folks that are watching, I just want to let everyone know at the end, I am going to address the UHC stuff with Jason and Leon. I just want to make sure that you guys know that. I appreciate the congrats and stuff. We'll talk about it a little at the end, but I want to make sure that we focus on this fantastic guest, Jay. So Jay, do me a favor. I want to, like, what we do on here, and I think you've seen a few of our episodes, is we like our viewers to kind of get to know the people behind the logos and the design. So I'd love if you shared a little bit about yourself.
Okay, sure. So let's see. I've been, an artist, my whole life, I think. Always been into drawing. Started drawing when I was a little kid. And also been playing hockey my whole life. So it kind of had that intersection of interests of sports and art, which are both things that people tell you can't really do professionally or make any money from. So, having, combining those is even tougher, but I've always kind of wanted to do that in some way. And, I sent you guys some pics, and we talked a little bit, before the show, but yeah, so I've always been, trying to do the branding for every, hockey team I've played on, do a bunch of logos, do that sort of thing. And I've always been passionate about sports and the design of sports, and the design of sports probably more so even than the sports themselves from a fan point of view. I've always been into the logos, and there's actually some, like, I don't know, there's some baggage on that. Like, you're not a true fan if you're into, you're not a real sports fan if you could look at the uniforms and the logos and care more about that. I'm from Connecticut, and in my area, it's like Red Sox. If you prefer the Yankees logo, well, tough shit, because you gotta support the Red Sox, that sort of thing. So there's like that tension. And I've always been just kind of interested in things beyond like just the standard fandom stuff.
Did you grow up in Connecticut, Jay?
I did, yeah.
Yeah, so you and I grew up in similar areas. So for those that don't know, Connecticut's the epicenter of Yankee Red Sox hate. So you'd have 50, depending on what part of Connecticut you're in, northern, southern, or central, you'd have 50% Red Sox, 50% Yankee, and it was a heated rivalry. But you weren't allowed to like a Yankees logo, whether or not on the inside you really liked and thought the logo was cool. You better keep that shit to yourself if you're a Red Sox fan, and vice versa, right?
Yeah. And in the I want to say must be early 90s. When some I think it was the Sharks came out on the scene in the NHL,
Yeah.
and that logo was just
Oh man, incredible.
so
Yeah.
good. It was so unlike anything else, and the colors and everything. And you know, as a kid, I was probably 10. You want to gear up with Shark stuff, and people are like, "Oh, you like the Sharks? Like, why don't you like the Bruins?" I'm like, "Well, I like everything, but like, look at this logo. It's amazing, you know." And
Yeah.
same thing with the Ducks. You know, when Mighty Ducks came out, like that was a really cool logo to me. But you know, you got some heat from the hockey traditionalists for being maybe a little too cartoony, or maybe for being Disney associated.
So what did you like better, the Whalers logo or the San Jose Sharks logo?
So
the Whalers logo is probably in my top 5 all time.
So now it is, as an adult who's gone to design school,
Yeah.
I have to give it up to the Whalers logo. The Whalers logo is perfect. You know, it's really, really good. But as a kid, Sharks hands down. You know, it had that like kind of comic
it had that different sort of appeal to it.
Yeah.
Did you notice how the Hartford Yard Goats kind of rebrand when they branded themselves? They really harkened back to the Whalers days.
I think that's really, really smart. Yeah, the color scheme is great. I mean, living in Connecticut now, you would think the Whalers never left. You can buy Whalers gear all over the state. I think if hockey ever did make a comeback, they would have quite a merch game. You know, people love that. People love that stuff. So I do think it's really smart of the Yard Goats. I think the Yard Goats branding is really great too. They got a good stadium going. They got a fun thing going.
It's fantastic. If you go there, it's a great experience for a minor league baseball game going to the Hartford. I think it's Dunkin' Donuts Stadium, right?
Yep, it is.
Going out there, man, it's like it's I think it's single A ball or double A ball.
You know, I don't even know, but it's fun.
Park, man, it's crazy once you get in it. Yeah.
Yep.
So, all right. So you grew up in Connecticut, you know, you're kind of exploring different logos, despite the hate you might see from others because you're wearing a different logo. You continued on that journey, but, you know, tell us a little bit more about, you know, what got you into design. So you've got a love for logos. What is it really got you into it?
So when I was really young, I used to be like, you know, I don't know, probably 6, 7, 8 years old. I'd wake up early in the morning and there was this cable access show called Captain Bob. And it was like a Bob Ross kind of like follow along, do art thing. And this guy was drawing, it wasn't painting, but I would wake up in the morning, put on the TV with the cable access, and he would just draw animals. And so I would just do that, you know, every time I could. And I just loved it. And, you know, from there, I think I was really into animation. You know, obviously all kids like cartoons, but I was like fascinated by like, how does it work? You know, how do they do this? I was really into the art. I got really into figuring out who made what, you know, Looney Tunes, like, okay, this is who drew this? Oh, it's Chuck Jones or Tex Avery or any of these, you know, old school animator guys. I would buy their books. I would try to like emulate their styles. Same thing with some Disney stuff, you know, try to buy all the how to draw Disney characters books and kind of copy that whole thing. Hanna-Barbera, you know, very unique style, not as good animation, but a really cool, you know, 60s, you know, lines and all that. So I would say, cartoons really kind of got me trying to, you know, emulate that and just learn how to draw. And I just really gravitated towards all kinds of art. And I was always into the art classes and, you know, that sort of thing. And then I went to college for graphic design because that was, you know, seemed like a logical way to turn art into a career.
That's awesome, man. So when did you decide, because I know you have, you know, a regular day job, right? But when did you decide to get into creating like sports like logos? Tell us about that.
Yeah. So, you know, as an adult playing, I still play beer league hockey, men's league hockey. And so, you know, I'm on a few teams here and there and we do tournaments and stuff. So I'm always making jerseys, designing jerseys. And I love that. And a hockey jersey is just, it's the biggest logo. It's the biggest, you know, presentation of a logo in sports. So that's just awesome. But there's only so many. There's only so many teams I could design for in my local area. There's only so many, uniform redesigns my teams would even tolerate. So I was looking for just one more outlet. And then on top of that, the idea of doing something that I didn't have to ask permission for. I didn't have to run it by anybody else. I didn't have to, as a professional graphic designer, you're either working for your clients or your bosses or whatever. Somebody's always weighing in, and that's part of the gig. But I was like, it'd be great if I could just do something exactly how I want, and maybe people would be into it. And so I started doing the hat thing, for that reason. Like, hey, I think this would be cool. I bet people would be into it too. Let's find out.
So we should probably show off some of this stuff, right? So Leon, we have I got to ask a question too when we pull this first slide up. It's a question that, all right. So this is pretty cool. So let me ask a question. Because I always have concerns around Leon's integrity. So Leon, I don't know if you know this. Leon has been known to jack people's logos to put on his own hockey jerseys. So, Leon, is this a logo that you have jacked for one of your teams?
It is safe to say I have not stole this logo before. So
this bear actually reminds me of you.
Does it?
Yeah, like cute, cuddly.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sure. Like, what is this? What is drinking some, I guess, homemade beer?
Yeah.
Some local hops, some IPA.
Yeah.
Out of a growler. A growler is like those big.
It's like a 40-ounce glass jug for transporting beer, and
moonshine.
Right? So, but double entendre with the bear being a growling animal.
You want to hear the craziest story, Jay?
I do.
So when I was like 21 years old, 22 years old, I decided it was time to move to Puerto Rico with my girlfriend at the time.
Mm-hmm.
So I just upped and left. Okay. Needless to say, I was living in Ponce, Puerto Rico. I didn't speak a lick of Spanish, but the girl I was with had me just, all wrapped up. So I'm out there, and finally I realized, like, what the fuck am I doing out here? Like, my family's in the United States. It's part of the United States, but my family's in Connecticut.
Yep.
I'm out here with this girl. I don't speak any English. They don't like me here. It was tough, man, because I didn't speak a lick of Spanish, so I was not well liked there. Actually, a lot of folks thought I was in the military. So I'm like, all right, I got to get the fuck out of here. So I go to the airport, and I meet this Jamaican guy, and he was super cool. We were talking about life, just kind of chatting and shit. And then he pulls out a paper cup and a milk jug filled with clear liquid. He proceeds to pour me a cup of this. And I'm not a drinker, Jay. I don't drink, right?
Okay. Yeah.
But I was kind of depressed. I'm like, fuck, I got to go back home and start over again. And he handed me that cup. And I immediately felt like I was drinking something I shouldn't be. When I say, like, if gasoline, if I could guess gasoline's taste, that's what I ingested. About an hour later, I was dead asleep, and my bag was gone. Don't ever drink moonshine from a Jamaican guy in an airport on your way back to the States. I just want to kind of throw that out there.
I'm really glad that you warned me and the viewers of that, because it's such a simple mistake to make.
It is.
Anybody?
It is to drink. A stranger offers you something to drink and you take it.
It could happen to anybody.
It could. But 21-year-old me was a little more naive. But
stranger danger.
That growler reminded me of that.
Yeah. The funny thing with doing, like, with men's league hockey, it's pretty important not to take it too seriously, and doing a logo that's just too badass, almost looks like you're trying too hard. So I had to make the bear a little drunk, had the tongue hang out, had to make it a little bit, had to soften him up a little bit.
Thing's awesome, man. So did you do a lot of jerseys, or was this really like?
Yeah, I probably got 6 or 7, around the house for different teams that I've done. Just local stuff, just for fun.
It's awesome. So next we start moving into to these. So
Diversity.
hat diversity. So I have both of these.
Yeah. Thank you, by the way.
No, I mean, and because I'm all about diversity, Jay. Just so you're aware.
Yeah.
I'm all about diversity, especially when it comes to hats. So I love, and people almost they get pissed, man, because I like these so much. But I love Ebbets caps. I love them, and I got that one, and I got that walrus, and I just absolutely love these caps. But tell us about your foray into kind of working and collaborating with Ebbitsfield Flannels.
Yeah, sure. So, I've had a bunch of Ebbets hats. I always liked them. I always thought the quality is amazing. And the interesting thing with them is like, they'll only do, as part of their brand, like actual historical recreations. It's like a whole big research project for them. And so, they're not making fashion hats. They're just like, this was a real team in the early 1900s, and this is exactly what the logo looked like. And, that's really interesting. And, some of that stuff, like as a designer, I can be really hard on myself and really get into perfecting something. And some of those logos, those old logos, are so like naive in a way and so kind of imperfect that I love it, because it's hard for me to like do something like that myself. It's like I can't do something that is that just loose. So there's like some kind of appreciation that I have for things that are just a little bit naive. So I always liked the hats, and I always knew I wanted to do one. And I thought it'd be an interesting challenge to take the dinosaur logo, which you guys have seen on the new era. Yeah. And like, what would that look like? I guess the thought experiment I was doing is, let's say this is the modern team. What would their like historical logo be?
Yeah.
And so that's kind of how I came up with that. And it's an interesting challenge to do the felt patch thing. You have to have like a real kind of economy of lines and shapes. And so it was really fun to do. And, I talked with the Ebbets people, and they were really, really helpful, really easy to work with, and real enthusiastic about the projects. And, they didn't sell quite as fast as the new eras usually do for me, but it definitely did sell out eventually, which, encouraged me to go ahead and do another one. And then the walrus one, which there's not a new era corollary for yet, although I think I eventually will try to do a new era modern walrus. But yeah, that walrus hat, I wear that all the time. It's probably the hat that I've designed that I wear the most.
Listen, I love these, and again, I can't speak enough. If you're, listen, I get it. If you're really into New Era 5950, this isn't necessarily going to be a hat that you would traditionally transition into, but just great job with these, Jay.
Thanks, man. Yeah, it's so different. It's like a different art form. The 5950 embroidery is like almost sculptural in a way, and this is just so much more primitive. But that's what's charming about it.
Oh yeah, no, I completely agree, man. This feels like something you would have saw in 1940, right, or 1950.
Yeah, and that's the challenge of it. It's like, what can I make that feels like it's got that same vernacular of something very old,
Well, you nailed it with these, Jay. So on the next slide, we've got some other logos. Tell us a little bit about these.
Yeah, so I don't know if any of these will become a hat. They very well might. But I was just putting together some ideas for another run of Ebbets, and so these are just some examples. And again, showing how to think differently about the design in a way that works for a embroidery on patch setup. And so you have your big field of color. That's the felt, and then the embroidery details. I love doing tusks and horns and stuff, by the way. I think that's such an interesting detail. So the mammoth is definitely, like, after I saw how good the walrus tusks came out, I was like, oh, that's that's a perfect thing to try in a different way. So the mammoth definitely has that going on. The fox, I went to Marist College. Red Foxes was our mascot. I've definitely got a thing for foxes too, just as a character. I think
So
they're
does Leon.
interesting.
Leon
Yeah.
has a big thing. Leon has a big thing for foxes.
He loves the foxes.
Is there a story there?
He just loves to chase down some foxes.
Oh, I bet.
So can I ask Leon a question, Jay? Since Leon's kind of, I can see he's perched and ready to pounce. But Leon,
Yeah.
upper left-hand corner, is that a cricket or a grasshopper, and why?
I'm gonna guess it's a cricket. I don't know. It doesn't look like either, to be honest. Maybe a cricket, I guess. Yeah.
The
I'm pretty sure it's a grasshopper. I can't remember what I pulled for a reference at the time, but
That's a grasshopper.
I hate both of them. They're
really.
I don't know. But yeah, it's interesting though, like to do these because you're like on a regular New Era 5950, you're designing with fill in mind, but there's fill is already there, so like it's cool how you play with the negative space and the outlines, and you leave a little bit of extra. You're not really coloring directly, I guess, to the corners, I guess. So that's a real cool kind of a step.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, you got the leftover kind of felt, around the edge there. Yeah.
It's badass. So can I, Jason, since Leon's been a little rusty lately, may I ask you a question?
Yeah, go for it.
The whale.
But now plants are more my thing.
I get it.
I'll try.
I get it, but I do have a question for you. So that whale in the lower left-hand corner, what species of whale do you believe that to be?
That looks to be I'm going to say a humpback whale or a blue whale. It's hard to tell from the color.
He's a gray whale, isn't it?
Leon, I'm not sure there's a breed of whale called gray whale.
Actually, there is, I think.
Yeah.
Oh shit!
But
that could be a sperm whale.
Again, I can't remember the reference I pulled, but I'm pretty sure it's a right whale.
Okay. All right. So, one more question for you, Leon. Are foxes more in the dog family or the cat family?
Ooh, they got to be in the canine family. I would think they're more dog than cat. I would assume. Kind of like a subspecies of maybe like a wolf, kind of.
Oh, maybe.
That
But either way, Jay, I have to keep these guys sharp when it comes to their animal and botanical knowledge, just so you're aware, because it's always useful on the show. So these are outstanding. I hope to see these on hats.
Yeah, me too. Which one you think would work the best?
Oh, the mammoth for sure.
The mammoth, yeah, the mammoth. Cool. How about you, Leon?
That's what I'm leaning.
I'm voting either whale or fox. And
Leon likes to be contrary, Jay.
He
likes to be contrary, Yeah.
But
you know what I would wear? I would wear a cricket. I would. And anytime there's a moment where I feel like the haters are attacking, I would just wear the cricket.
Give them the point, the Cyclops point.
I think bugs are underrepresented as logos. Bugs are real interesting design wise. There's a lot of lines there.
Yeah, you're right. And the Hartford Yard Goats had a what if cap that was a praying mantis because that's the state bug.
Oh, really? I didn't know that. I should know that.
Look at Jason Mead. He's got that thing ready to go.
Oh, hell yeah.
Do you know if you kill a praying mantis in the state of Connecticut, you can be arrested?
I didn't know that. I'll be very careful.
Be very careful.
I'm a vegetarian. I don't kill anything.
Ooh.
I got so many questions now.
You and Neil would get along. He's our other
that serves you well.
Famous vegetarian.
Yeah, so this is a lot of the lineup, just the history of the Fairweather brand. I've got I don't know, you guys got any questions about any of these? You want me to just talk about each one?
Yeah. When's the T-Rex getting restocked?
That's probably the next one that I'm gonna do, and people are gonna be mad about that because I get way more requests for the Mr. Toad and for the Sasquatch. Those are my two most requested restocks.
Okay.
But I think I'm gonna do the dinosaur again because I love it.
Yes.
I mean, these are all fantastic. So yeah.
I agree. I think Jay, am I correct in this? I think I remember seeing this on your Instagram where you're putting like different color options in your story too to identify whether or not someone would like to see something restocked.
Yeah, I just
are you doing that as well or no?
I was curious to see, what people thought. Actually, interestingly, so the story with the Yeti there is my original idea was to take that same logo and do it in a bunch of colorways and have it be different, hominid cryptids. So like Bigfoot, do a Bigfoot in certain colors, do a Sasquatch in certain colors, do a Yeti in certain colors, and kind of, span the globe. So I managed to get two out there. And I actually, so I like that idea of like creating some theming around, maybe the location of where these legendary creatures might live, but keep using the same thing. I think it's just interesting that, all sorts of different cultures have similar kind of mythical creatures, so I wanted to just, experiment with that a little bit. So there'll be some other edition of that someday.
How long ago did you do the hockey one?
That was most recently. I would say, so I play on a team called the Black Sheep. We play, it's a pond hockey team. So we played pond hockey tournaments and, so we've had, because I'm the one doing it, like several different logos. And this one I did most recently. And I was like, this came out really good. I bet people would want this on a hat. So there it is.
Love it. And again, we talked about sidekicks. So tell me about that one. So, that's a really cool idea. And I do know, rhinos do have that what they call it symbiotic relationship.
Yeah.
With the bird that kind of hangs out on its back. But what made you come up with that idea? Because I think that's super cool. Leon, if you want to go to the next slide, I think there is the next slide, the one with the sketches and whatnot.
No, it's the one of a future hat, and then it goes to the.
All right, we can see on that.
I can go to the rhino one real quick if you.
Yeah,
want.
let's go there because I'd like to show that one off. Yeah, so because I was looking at this when you sent these over in the zip file, and it's really cool. How did it start with just the head, and then you kind of evolved to this? Can you take us through this?
Yeah, so when I definitely wanted to do the bird rhino combo, and originally I was going to put the bird on the head, and I was struggling with getting this right sort of character on the head, and then I was trying, I'm always trying to figure out how to like finish off the logo, and maybe a shield would have done it, but I wasn't quite happy with that, and so started to get into the more of the body in there. I think by on the second row on the far left, I started to get the character that I wanted, which was kind of a grumpy, stoic, kind of like an Eeyore vibe instead of the top rows, which have more of a, maybe an angry or aggressive, or even the left one has like a little bit of a smirk on it. So I wanted to get that kind of face sorted out. But yeah, I think the original idea was to do the bird. I thought the symbiotic relationship was really interesting, and it has that kind of storytelling thing that I think is really fun to play up. And I don't know if I can see it in there. Yeah, I probably drew that bird hundreds of times to try to get the right amount of detail for something that was going to be really small relative to the rhino. So it had to be really economical in the line work to be recognizable, have personality, but it's really tiny, and the fact that it came out good in embroidery is a credit to New Era and to Clink Room, because
it came
really
out incredible.
Like
I said, and I don't want to I'm not going to just say things to say things. So in terms of the Clink Room caps that have landed from Clink Room 2.0, the way I have them ranked right now, and it doesn't take away from your design or any of that, but number 1 is J Matt's Red Winged Blackbirds.
So good.
Just came out outstanding. And a close second is this cap and the way this one came out. Absolutely. And to think about, you were going up against the likes of, in my eyes, of Ephra, John from Ink Park, and a lot of like really strong artists out there. And this one came up as my number 2.
Yeah, I really appreciate that. And yeah, the Clink stuff has been great. I've been so impressed by it. And I think most of them have come out really good as a final product. But this, they took this design, they made it better with embroidery, and I am really happy.
Don't sell yourself short, Jay. This thing is impressive, and I think.
Well, I thank you, but they really, it was a good collaboration, because I think designing with embroidery in mind is its own challenge, but I think I've gotten a pretty good hang of it. Not everything turns out exactly how I had hoped, but this one turned out, I think, better than I expected. And as I was telling you, I put in, my design had more of this shading in it, and the fact that the Clink Room decided to kind of simplify it, but then bring it back out in really dimensional, directional embroidery. Like they just knew what to do with this logo, so it turned out really good.
All right, so I'm gonna stop gushing about this hat, but I will say I was extremely excited when I saw this hat come up, or this logo come up, as a potential Clink Room X-ray.
Oh yeah, me too.
So I'd love to hear, not just your thoughts, but I'd love to hear Jason and Leon's thoughts on the X-ray component. And yeah, listen, I'm good with differing opinions. So make sure if you're not on board with it, Captain Contrary, Leon Chen, I want to hear about it. I want to hear why. But I want you guys to tell me, what do you think? So let's start, if we could, Jay, before you share your thoughts. I'd love to hear from sure. Jason and Leon. Like, what do you guys think about the whole X-ray piece?
So I think this one's a great one, because like no matter what animal or whatever you're X-raying, the most exciting thing is going to be the skull. So this design is the thing that takes up the most space is the rhino skull and the horn.
Yeah.
So I think that one will show really well. The other one that you guys brought up was the blackbird, which has almost like an overview, over top point of view. I don't think you will get a lot of bones in that. So like something like this, you'll and number one's a bigger animal, you're going to get more bones, and the big point of focus would be the skull. So what do you think about it, Jay? Sorry. Jason.
Yeah. No, I'll go last.
Okay. I don't know. It'd be interesting to see how it comes out. I think the ones with the like you said, the bigger skulls, the focus is more on the skull, are going to come out a lot better than say the ones that are going to have like dainty bones in them, like that the Redbird, a cool logo, but there's hardly any bones in a bird, so I don't know how well it's going to actually X-ray.
Cool. Jay Hutton now. So we can be very clear now.
Yeah, I think, what a cool idea. I'm definitely happy to have this in the running for that kind of treatment. I didn't, it was kind of a surprise. I guess it was Monday when they put that idea up. I didn't know anything about it. And it's kind of interesting to you hand over your baby to somebody else to tweak. But with Brandiose, with the Clink Room, they're going to do a good job of it. So it's kind of an honor to have them kind of riff on something that I've done. So I'm really curious to see how it's going to go. I do think that it'll work particularly well for this design, because there's a I think there's a lot of space in this silhouette to kind of make it work. And I think the horn will be a really kind of, important component of the skull there.
Yeah.
And the bird will be really small bones, but we'll see.
Yeah, I think it's a cool concept. I think John from Ink Park and I were talking about this. It would have been nice to see some more non-animal, non-human type skeletons. So like his fresh kicks would have looked cool, right? If they
I totally agree. Yeah.
It would have
Some of the
freaking cool.
Like I don't know if anybody's into like vinyl toys or those like collectible kind of things,
Yeah.
but they have those. I've seen like it's like a Lego man, but they do it. It's like half of it you can see through, and it's like a skeleton or like a balloon dog with a skeleton. I forget the name of the artist. Somebody can
Is it
add that in the
Cause?
chat.
Is it
It's
Cause?
not Cause,
There's one
but it's that
Nice
same
toes?
family of toys. So yeah, doing skeletons for things that don't have skeletons would be really cool. Like somebody did a pineapple, that'd be cool.
Yeah, exactly. That stuff would have been cool. But listen, I'm super excited about seeing this one potentially go down that road.
I do have one other thing to say about the X-ray thing.
Yeah.
I noticed a couple of designs had metal objects in them. I would tell Clink to be very careful with X-raying those things. It would actually break their machine if they X-ray the metal.
Like the bot pirate.
No, like Sammy was in there, and then the bird with the holding the knife. Not good to X-ray metal.
Yeah, that's a great point. That's a great point, Jason. We'll make sure we get that over to the Clink team ASAP.
Yeah. Thank you.
We'll make sure. Thank you. Thanks, Jason. So Jay, we've come a long way here. We've talked a lot about, who you are, what you've done to kind of get yourself into the design world, what you've done with Ebbits and New Era and now Clink Room. Now let's talk about what's next for you. So Leon can now slide back to the other one and let's talk about this a little bit.
Yeah. So I don't know if this is next, but this is something I was working on. I shared the sketch in my stories and people kind of went nuts for it. I got a lot of messages about this little guy. So I figured I'd throw it up here. It's a little rough still, a little loose here. But yeah, just the idea, obviously a hermit crab with a hockey helmet for a home. I think, I'm trying to do things that aren't just, it's not just the animal, it's like a little bit something else too. Like, the juxtaposition I think is, what takes some of these things to the next level. So, and then combining hockey with the beach, which just doesn't go. So that makes it even better, that sort of thing. So just a little something I've been playing with.
Yeah, it's cool, man. And what else you have coming soon? So I want to end with what you have up on Clink right now because it's fucking fantastic. But what else do you have? Oh, Leon just went right there right away. So thank you, Leon, for not taking the cues accurately, but it's okay. We're going to figure this out. So we're going to go back and forth here, Jay, because Leon likes to keep us on our toes.
That's
so
fine.
Leon and I were actually messaging in a little group chat we have and talking about this is a fucking winner.
Oh, thanks.
This thing is a winner. And, I think what I love about the logos that you do is they're cartoony, but I connect with them for some reason. I don't know what it is, but I connect with them. And I think a lot of the folks in the hat community do connect with these. This has got a great feel to it. And I'd love to hear more about this one, if that's okay, Jay.
Yeah, sure. Yeah. So obviously we talked about, like, I'm very influenced by cartoons. And I think it's really interesting to find the balance of when something is just a cartoon versus when it is a logo. And, it's like, some things work better than others. Like the Pittsburgh Penguins is like, I think a perfect blend of it's totally a cartoon, but it's totally a logo. It's that perfect balance. And I'm not, it's like it when you see it kind of thing. And sometimes I see things where it's just like, that's just a cartoon. and it may be a great illustration and it may have all the character and everything, but it doesn't stand as a logo. So, you know, I try to strike that balance. You know, it's interesting too, like, you know, it's just like something can just be a cartoon and it's not quite a logo. And then something can be too realistic and it's not quite a logo either. You know, being a Bruins fan, if anybody remembers, they had this side patch bear in the 80s that we call the crack bear. And it's just a horrible illustration.
Oh, man. It's right there. It's the bear version of that old Tiger logo.
Yeah, exactly. And it's crazy and it's terrible.
Yeah.
And then they went from that to what is known in you know, our circles as the Pooh Bear, which looks like it's a very accurate illustration of a bear. It's like very accurate. It looks like you could pull that out of an encyclopedia and be like, yep, that is a brown bear. And it just doesn't work. It just doesn't work as a logo. And then beyond that, when they moved into the newer side patch, it's like they finally found that balance between being, you know, an illustration and being, you know, legible as a bear. And that's kind of something I think of when I'm doing this sort of thing. So the idea for this was I hadn't done much hat design since I submitted the sidekicks. And then when I got the hat in and I saw how good the embroidery was, I was like, I need to do something that really capitalizes on this embroidery. And so I was thinking in terms of layers and puff and kind of dimensionality. And so I came up with this guy, you know, and the way that I drew him was kind of different too. Instead of doing a sketch or line work, I laid down these fat shapes in layers. Like, okay, we're going to have a back layer. It's going to be the tail, and then kind of a middle part. And then hopefully they'll be able, you know, if this makes it through, and I'm pretty hopeful that it will, you know, this front segment will be like very foreground, maybe the most puff. You know, obviously it's up to them, but I just was thinking in terms of like that, you know, that embroidery when I designed.
Here's what I'll say. I'm pretty damn sure this thing is going to come out incredible. So as I'm looking at designs, I'm trying to figure out which one's going to look best once it's embroidered on a hat. I have a feeling this one's going to be incredible.
Yeah.
So for those that are wondering, like, if, you know, for those that are making a decision, let's say you've got like 5 of them you're choosing from and you want to choose 2 or 3, you damn well better make sure this is one of them. Because if I were making the decisions, and I'm not saying that because Jay's on the show, I'm telling you from looking at that logo, and I think Jason and Leon would attest to this, this thing's going to come out tight. And it's going to be impressive. And I think the embroidery is going to be nice and thick, and it's just going to look outstanding. So if you're thinking about which one to go for, and you know, it's not going to be for everybody, right? No logo is for everybody, but.
No, it's definitely not for everybody. And, you know, I think, look, there's been a lot of dragon logos that have been done. And for me, well, actually there's a lot of dragons that have been done, and a lot of them kind of are very badass. And actually, shoot, I forget the designer's name. He was
CBS Inc.
Yes, he did a really killer dragon. I think it was so good that some hockey team stole it.
Yeah.
But
yeah. I heard about that story.
And then I think Grandiose themselves did the Vermont Lake Monsters MILB logo, which is very cool. But that's almost
cool. Yours is closest to that.
Yeah.
Now it's not the same. I want to be clear. Yours is that in that same vein, that same style.
Cartooning for sure.
Yeah.
Cartooning for sure. But yeah, you know what I think is interesting about this too is drawing dragons is kind of easy because they're fictional, obviously. Oh, there you go. Yep.
Yeah. So totally. Wait, let me. I think it's only going to show whoever's talking. So if I show everyone, this is that Vermont Lake Monsters. Yours is cooler though, Jay. I gotta be honest with you.
Thank you.
But that's what I was talking about. It's in the same vein of this.
Yeah, totally. Yeah, and it's inspired. You know, I take a lot of inspiration. Especially from stuff like that. So.
Yeah, it's badass. So listen, I think for those that are debating, I would definitely, you know what I'm finding though, Jay, is I'm finding, and I don't know if Leon and Jason agree. I'd love to hear their thoughts on it, but the Clink Room caps are becoming more of collector pieces. Now, I know this sounds crazy because, there's a lot of guys out there that wear every hat they get. I have only worn one of mine, and it was on the air the first day that I got it. Was the hammer. Remember the hammerheads?
Mhm.
I don't even want to put it on my head because I don't want to mess it up.
Right.
It's weird because like that one hat you just showed me, would I wear it? Yes. Would I want to wear it? Yes. Will I? Probably not. Because it's like a piece of artwork to me. Now, I may be inspired to buy two and have one to wear and one to kind of keep, but that's how much I value that sort of artistic ability in that final product. And I'm not saying, and despite popular opinion, I'm not rich. I'm just a normal dude, man, but I spend my money on hats. I would want to have two of those, one to wear on my head and one to keep as a collector's item.
That's what I do for my own stuff. It's been a challenge too, because, I try to keep one pristine and I try to wear one, and, they sell out, and I always get people begging me for, do you have any left? And I usually do have one or two left that I'm going to, keep.
Yeah.
And, but it is tough. But I don't ever have more than one or two extra, unfortunately. So it's like, I got to take good care of them because they're not easy to get again.
Yeah.
And in Clink, they send you two. I could buy more, I guess, but I am also not a rich man, so I'm trying not to indulge too much. But the more I see the Clink stuff in the wild, the more I wish I had bought more. And it's not until you see them that you're like, oh shit, I wish I got that one, but then it's too late.
I know, man. I
It's
know.
like
What were you saying, Leon?
It's like you're almost like, it's like a crowdsourcing event and you're collecting like first editions, because they're never going to run them back, but they might run it back in different colors. So it's like you're kind of taking the risk, and sometimes, they knock it out of the park more often than not. And then sometimes, it doesn't work out. But, for the most part, it's like you're investing in these artists and in their projects. And it's a real cool way to kind of do it.
Yeah. Listen, Jay, I love this conversation. I want to thank you so much for coming on with us.
Thanks for having me.
No, this was incredible, man. I mean, I think a lot of our viewers know more about you now. I mean, what we're finding is folks connect better when they do get to know an artist. And listen, what I love about you is you're just down to earth, man. I mean, you come across all different sorts in this game, right? But you're a down to earth, really good dude. I appreciate you coming on. I love the stuff you're doing. And listen, I'm excited to see what's next. So keep it coming, man, because you have a thirsty fan base that just wants wants more of this stuff.
Yeah.
Thank you for supporting my stuff, and thank everybody in the audience who has bought my stuff, because that is what keeps me doing it. I really appreciate it. Love it.
Okay. Well, Jay, thanks again. We're gonna let you go. I appreciate having you on. I hope you want to come on again, because what we're doing is we're going to get together like a whole group of artists to come together, and we're going to throw some topics out there. So idiots like myself and Jason, who aren't artists or really creators, Leon facilitates some creation, but we'd love to have you on and have a good round table about some different topics. So
that sounds great.
All right, man. Well, Jay, have a good one. I know it's starting to get chilly in Connecticut. I'm not far from you. I'm probably 45 minutes from you. So have a good night, and we'll be in touch.
All right. Thanks everybody.
Thanks a lot, Jay.
All right.
Doesn't even look like the same
that was a very professional picture.
It was. Wow. So that was a great conversation.
I liked it. Liked it a lot.
Yeah. He's a good dude, man. What are you wearing today, Jay?
This is a chickle. It's from the, I believe, Fresno Grizzlies theme night hat. And a chickle is, you know, those giant like carnival pickles. Well, they cut it
Yeah.
half, and then they put like a spicy shredded chicken in it, and you eat it like a sandwich.
Wow. I've learned more weird shit from the two of you than I've ever learned in my life from any other two individuals. And may I ask a question that's wardrobe related, Jason? Is that okay?
Yeah.
So when you were getting ready for the show,
Yep.
what led you to a place of the snow camo
Um,
or the urban camo? The urban camo. Like what led you to that place?
I have a very, very in-depth process for picking out my wardrobe for the evening.
Okay.
Okay. And what it is I go into my closet and I pick up the shirt that's on top.
Oh,
So,
all right. That explains it.
And then usually I try and find a hat to match. But today, for some reason, I had this thing on the hat jack for a while, and I was reorganizing some hats, and I'm like, no, we'll try this one on, and I liked how it fits, so I just went with it. It's got black and white in it, so
The chickle.
Well, a couple of things. So we want to talk about UHC really quick, right? And then I'd love to talk about, if it's okay with you guys. Well, maybe we'll start with this. So I want to share with everyone where we're going next. So you guys are going to be, you're in for a treat. You're in for a real treat because Leon, myself, and Jason are going to be unveiling our top 50 of the year. So what's going to happen starting next Wednesday is we're going to start counting down our top 50 hats of the year. And we're also going to do our 10 worst hats of the year.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm sure as many people are going to be interested in that list as they are the top 50, right?
Yeah.
But just so everyone's aware, I had a lot of people hit me in my messages on Instagram saying, why are you doing this so early? Well, you're not the one doing the fucking list. So like this takes a while. And our goal is.
But do they want to watch us count down 50 hats each
50 at a time?
150 hats in
one show? I don't think they really want us to do that.
But I don't even want to do that myself. Like because I want to take, the reason why is I don't want to just run through this like it's some sort of checklist. I want each of us to kind of describe the hat, where it came from, like what we like about it, and kind of like open it up for some discussion. So if we're doing 30 per show, which is 10 from each of us, we can have really good content and discussion around the hats, post our 10 hats so people can see them on our Instagrams and in our Facebook groups and have a good conversation about it. So that's going to go on for the next 5 Wednesdays, starting next Wednesday.
Correct.
Right?
Yes.
So that's a pretty long process. But I think it's going to be fun. I think one thing I've learned is people love lists.
They love lists.
People fucking love lists. And we're going to hit you with lists.
And I just want to say, I know it sounds simple to just say, what's your top 50 hats of the year? But you got to realize there's over 600, 700, 800 hats that come out every month.
Yeah, well, there's at least 200 hats that come out a week.
What?
About 150 to 200 a week, did you say?
Right. Yeah, on most weeks. Some's higher, some's lower, but yeah. I'm going through each and every single hat and pulling out the ones I like and then ranking them 1 through 50.
Yeah. So for me, I personally had to go to my camera roll, go back to January 1st. And if anybody who follows me on Instagram or knows how many pictures I take of hats, it's fucking crazy. I went back to January 1st and I just started selecting the pictures of hats that I thought were the best. I ended up with 350 hats.
Right.
So then I had to take that 350, get it down to 200. I'm like, oh, I got to be near 50. Nope, I'm only at 200. Then I had to go again, get it down to 100. Get it down to, I finally got it down to 50. But then the beauty of once you get it down to 50 is now you have to put them in 1 through 50.
Yes.
Right.
This is fucking work.
I don't know how the ranking criteria is going to be really interesting.
I can't even scroll back.
It doesn't even, there's no real criteria though, right? The criteria is what you feel about the hat. So that's what the beauty of this.
Yeah.
But I think internally the debate I was having when I was moving them through 1 through 50 is like, holy shit, like this is harder than I thought.
Yeah.
And just as a disclaimer, like for me, I'm not going to have like, so Hat Club has collections, right? They have the cotton candy collection. They have the campfire. They have the All-Star Game patch collection. They have the
Red Bond.
logo timeline,
Yeah.
green eggs and ham. So with those, they did not crack I didn't put any of them in my top 50. I did a second list of 10 of the best, or 12 of their best hat of each collection. That way I didn't clog up the top 50 with just Hat Club collection caps, because I think that could have, I didn't want to turn it into that. So Clink hats will be in there. Any fitted hat will be in there. It doesn't matter what it is. But for me personally, I kept out those Hat Club collection hats. But that's something to look forward to. How are you guys doing with your respective selection?
So to be fair to everyone else, I'm not going to be ranking any hat that I designed or had made. So it would be weird for me to be like, okay, like my hat's better than this one, my hat's better than, like, you know what? So I'm just going to avoid all that stuff. And anything like that's post-production or anything, I'm just not going to include. So.
And for me, no hat is off limits because I didn't make any. So, but my list is probably going to look a hell of a lot different than your guys' list for sure. So,
Really?
Yeah. I mean,
I never would have guessed that.
Yeah.
You side patch hating son of a bitch. So
Well,
now
mean,
we're gonna
he's got all the Iowa Copa white panel hats.
Oh yeah.
1 to 5.
Those are not really my top 10, Leon.
sorry. But Jason's done the hard work already. He's already been doing top 9s.
Yeah, but dude,
for the last 15 weeks. So all he has to do is take the top 3 of all the top 9s and then
but some top 9s beat out the entire other week's top 9s. It's just not the top 3 from each week. So
fair enough.
Yeah. Cool. So so that's what we got coming up next. Now, the weekend caps, we're going to continue to work through that, right? I mean, that's something that's our staple, man. That's our bread and butter, and that's been the most fun, I think. I love the interviews, but I think that's the one where we can really let loose and kind of, tear things apart, I guess. But I do want to address, and I do want to thank everybody for the UHC component. So just a little bit, so everyone's aware. So it was announced today that I won, and thank you. I appreciate. First of all, I don't want any of the $2,500, and I'm going to get there in a second. All I wanted was to kind of participate in something and, and compete. I mean, we all have that in us, right? A lot of us, maybe some of us don't, but I love competing. And I really felt like I had the best collection, and I wanted to compete. And, but aside from that though, you still need a good supporting cast that would kind of help propel you there. So this one was based on a vote, partially a vote. Not all of it was a vote. It was a portion of it was the voting process. And I've got to thank everybody out there who did vote and supported me through the process, because I'm not someone who believes I did anything on my own ever. Everything that I've ever done in my life, there's been somebody that supported me or helped me along the way in some way, shape, or form. And this was no different. And I really appreciate the support and help that everyone provided me. Even if you just reposted something for me or shared that you were, happy for me or excited for me, or Jason posting it on his Instagram or whatever it was, I just want to thank everybody from the bottom of my heart, because it really did mean a lot to me. And this win is a shared win. It's for anybody. It's not for the fucking hater. Well, no, it is. So I'll share with you. There's 2 groups of people that were very beneficial in this. Number one is the people that supported me, because that motivation and support is what kept me going. You think I want to take those pictures all day? People were challenging me on whether or not I had things. I was filming my Instagram with stuff. I was doing it all day. I literally did that all day for 7 days. So I campaigned like there was nothing else to do in life. But I do want to thank the haters. And I'm going to tell you guys why. There were a few moments over the 7 days where I said, I don't want to fucking take another picture. Right? But then I would open something up and there'd be some asshole saying something disgusting about me. So then that motivated and fueled me to take another picture. or to post another story or to try harder. So, I want to thank both the supporters and the haters. And to Professor Hatter, I want to thank you for providing me with the idea of Diversity Day and Depth Day. Without you challenging Lids, its contestants, and everybody else around the lack of diversity, I never would have posted the Diversity Day post that I think really helped me. So thank you, Professor Hatter. Your teachings were both indirect and direct. So thank you. But listen, here's what I'm going to do too. I'm not going to disappear. That's the beauty of me, or the bad part of me, is the show goes on. It's going to continue on. My Instagram continues on. My Instagram lives continue on. The stories I throw up on Instagram, all the things that I do in the hack community aren't going away. This wasn't the end game. This was just a fun thing on the way to doing more of this. So I do, though, want to thank everybody. And remember, you don't get anywhere alone. No matter what anybody tells you. You never get anywhere alone. So I wanted to thank everybody. I appreciate that support. So with that, is there anything else, guys, before we wrap up?
I think we're going to do a live, well, not a live portion, but we're going to hang out a little bit in FHS. So if you guys are part of that group, make sure you guys join there. So it won't be aired on YouTube, but, in the meantime, thank you everyone for watching, liking, rating, reviewing, subscribing, doing all that good stuff. Dankadelic's got a question. We'll probably take it off air into the group. But other than that, we'll be back Saturday with This Week in Caps. Jay, do you have anything to add?
No, I just had a lot of fun seeing all the posts, not only from you, not only from Leon. Leon did a great job of coming up with some posters and whatnot. But I thought all the contestants did a great job of posting stuff and posting their collections. And it was just a fun competition overall. Yeah, it was a lot. Yeah.
Listen, I thought every contestant played the game right.
Yep.
The people that were supporting some of the contestants, I can't say the same for, but I believe that all of the people that participated the right way.
Yep. Great job, everybody, and hopefully they all get to be finalists again. And I just personally love what you're doing with the winnings there. So a lot.
No, I should say that. So can I share that real quick?
Yeah, go ahead.
So I do have I have a call with Lids next Thursday where I'm going to iron that out. Now I've got people messaging me and saying, "Hey, I think you should do this." Listen, that's up to me.
Yeah.
So I'm going to do what I think is right with the money, but it's going to go to kids. That I know. So I appreciate everyone wanting to share what they think I should do with the money, but I want it, and I want to donate it where I want to donate it. Now, I will show proof that I've donated said money to wherever I donate it to, because I want to make sure that my intentions are always clear and transparent, and what I do is clear and transparent. But please don't suggest anymore. I've got enough on my plate right now. I'm going to find the right place to do it. And if it means it could be anything, it could be me going to or finding a way to get some kids some hats and jerseys in a cancer hospital. It could be the Boys and Girls Club. It could be anything, but it's going to be something that's going to provide someone with something that's going to make their day brighter, and they perhaps couldn't afford that on their own. So that's what I'm going to do with it, and I don't really need many other questions. Oh, and the other thing that I have to address is I'm not getting a snapback. So everyone saw on Lids on the Instagram, people were writing funny things about, he's getting a snapback. Lids is making me one in a navy blue 7 1/4 fitted with red print, so it matches and emulates a Red Sox hat. So that's just how they announce the winner. That's all they do, that to announce the winner. It's not really going to be a snapback.
That's the prototype. They wanted to make.
But I did tell them I still want the hat. I want that snapback too.
Yeah, don't destroy the hat.
Don't destroy the hat. Don't throw the hat. Just send it to me anyway.
Yeah.
But all right. So thank you, everybody. I appreciated it. Leon, you have anything you want to take us away?
Yeah. Thank you guys for joining. We'll be back Saturday with Views from the Vault episode 27. Signing off. Stay fitted. Take care, guys.